Hi, welcome to the third lesson in Code Your Own Indicator series. Today we're going to learn how to use options for inputs in a script. We're gonna learn how to use the session strings, and I will show you a switch instruction. So this is the indicator that we wrote so far. Those are all the comments that we created. As you can see, the last comment is corrected weekday numbers because, as one of you pointed out recently, well, I was using the numbers from 0 to 6 rather than from 1 to 7 for weekdays, which is incorrect. So Sundays 1 and Saturdays 7. Thank you for this correction. And yeah, let's dive into it. So what we're going to do, in my indicators, I use frequently you want to use like a drop-down list on inputs. So what do I mean by this? Let me show you. So let's create an input. We'll name it input string session. And we'll adjust everything nicely here. And well, the goal today is to create a we'll display a label on start of the different sessions. So we'll define sessions as per day's definition, which is Asia, London, New York AM, and New York PM session. And yeah, and we would choose which session to basically show from the drop-down list. So first we'll create this list. So the way it works is that you need to select the type of the input as per usual. The first one is the default value. The second one is title. So let's say we want to title it session. And then we want to group it into this one, right? Just as we were doing so far. Let's adjust everything nicely. And all right, so let's see what do we have here so far. And let's change the name of the lesson to lesson 3, of this indicator to lesson 3, right? Because it's a lesson 3. All right, so let's go into settings and let's see. Okay, so here at the moment we can input anything here really. And default, well, this is the string input, right? And the default value is Asia, as just as we wrote. So what we'd like to have is basically have the user to choose only from Asia, London, New York AM, and New York PM. All right, so let's do this. So the way you do this is you add the option, well, input function has many different attributes. One of them is option, and options rather. And the way you do this is you write options, and then in brackets you write different options that you want the user to choose from, right? So in this case, let's say that we write 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and it will show us an error. Why? Well, this is because if you have input of a certain type, in this case it's a string, then you want to use for options only strings. So we will be choosing from different session names. So let's name them Asia, London, New York, AM, and New York, PM. And let's name it, let's name the default value as per, let's say 1. Let's see what happens now. I want to show you different errors that you might encounter, right? Okay, so we have the error, which basically tells us that the default value that you have here must be one of the values that are in options, right? Which makes sense because you will be able to choose only from these options. So default value must be one of them. Okay, so let's fix it and let's change it to Asia. And we'll see if we have this error fixed. Okay, looks like it's working. Let's see how it looks like. Okay, so now we have a drop-down list which we choose from, and the value that we choose from is stored in this variable, right? So this is the first step, right? The user can pick the session that he or she wants to have marked. So what are the next steps? Well, next thing is we would like to detect whether we are in a session or we are not in a session, right? So the way to do this in PineScript is through use of session strings. And I will explain to you what is this exactly. But first, let's commit the changes, right? Yeah, so I will name the commit the inputs per session from the down list. I add all the changes, I commit this. Okay, so now I have everything saved, the checkpoint saved, so I can go forward. So yeah, so like I said, we want to use the session strings. Okay, so let's first name the region, so we have everything in order. Session strings. Right, and now let's define the session strings. But what are session strings? Well, basically, PineScript, you have this explained on this website, which is, well, if you basically input into Google, if you type PineScript session strings, you have many different videos which explain this, but also on TradingView site and on this website. I think it's very well explained. So basically what are these is that you write a string which basically in a very convenient way defines you the time of the day and days of the week that the session is being well, that the session occurs in, right? So, for example, let's define an Asia session. So, Asia session occurs well from Monday to Friday, but if you're on crypto, you have weekends as well. So, the Asia session occurs from 6 p.m. till midnight Eastern Standard Time, right? So let's define this. Spring session Asia. And if we read through documentation, you will see that the way to define this is like this. So here we input the times, like the period of time, basically beginning time and end time of a session, and after a colon you have the days that it occurs in, and days are numbered in exact same way we had them numbered before. So 1 is Sunday and 7 Saturday. So like I said, Asia session is from 6 p.m., which is 18, till midnight, which is 000, and it occurs each day, right? So yeah, this is Asia session. Now, we want to check whether the Asia session has occurred, right? So we have this expression which basically gives us true or false depending on whether well, the time is within the defined session string or not. So the expression is so it will be a boolean if it's true or false, right? And the expression is NA, meaning this function is checking whether the expression between brackets is does it have a value of NA, which is basically not defined, non-existent. And now we have this time for the current time frame period, and we will use our session string session Asia, and let's keep it like this for now, right? Yeah, and of course we need variable name, so let's say bool as Asia, right? All right, now let's for now let's forget maybe about this label that was counting as the days before. Let's comment it out for now at least. And now let's see if we will be within Asia session. We want to display a label that will be this is Asia session. Okay, so if this expression is true, then we want to have right. Then we want to have this label showed. All right. So if bool is Asia, meaning if this variable would be true, then we want to have label dot new. And now, as usual, we want to give it a coordinate. So that's current bar, high of the current bar, and the value will be this is Asia And let's keep it like this for now. Let's see what happens, right? All right, so what happens here? We're on the hourly, and what do we have? Well, we have a basically label telling us this is Asia in a very odd times, right? It's not, it's showing that this is Asia basically from 7 p.m. EST till 11. So what's wrong? Well, one thing that is wrong is that you need to, when you're defining a session, well, when you're checking for the session, you need to always be sure to give it a proper time zone. And since we're ICT traders, well, the time zone that we always use is is EST time zone, and the EST time zone is basically defined in PineScript as one moment, and to remind myself to recall, because it can be tricky sometimes. Yeah, it's defined as America/New York. Yep. You can find it by also in PineScript documentation. America, New York, right? Let's see what happens now. Right, it's better now, but it's still not correct, because we have the label shown on This is Asia, from midnight, well, basically till 6 p.m., right? So something is not right. Well, what is not right is that actually this expression should be not an A, meaning if this expression is defined, well, this is where we want this variable to be true. Now it should be correct. Now, okay, let's see. We have a label shown on This is Asia from 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 is not in Asia anymore. So looks like it is correct, right? So it's all good, right? But we don't want to show only Asia time, I mean the session. We want to show London session, we want to show New York AM, and so on. So we will define session strings for other sessions as well. So let's define London, which is from well, basically midnight till 6. It's aligned nicely. Then New York AM, that's from 6 a.m. till 12 till noon. And PM session, which is from noon till 6 p.m. All right, now we can define the variables for different sessions. Now, look, this is a nice tip for you. So if you name your variables correctly, I mean, in the way that I use this, the only thing that you need to do now is you just need to change one word in each row. So now London, right? This will be New York AM, and it's gonna be New York PM. Okay, that's aligned nicely. Yep, cool. Something wrong here. Oh, yeah. Okay. It's a typo. Okay, so we have the variables which will basically tell us if if it is London, New York, AM, PM, or Asia session. But remember, our goal was to actually see which session the user wanted to be shown. So what we'll need to do is we'll need to get the input from user and display the session accordingly, right? So let's create a function which will take the input from user, and depending on the input, it will basically tell this expression if the session that's selected by user is there or not. Okay, so okay, let's name this function as user session. It's gonna take input session it's gonna take one argument, which will be the string, and depending on this argument, it's gonna show it's gonna output this bool, basically true or false, depending on the session that's selected by a user. So here I will introduce to you a nice an expression that's used in PyScript. It's called switch. So basically, like we did it here, we could use just if expression, and here we'll define bool output, bool, give it false, and yeah, and if and we can do it like this. So if input session equals what? Let's say Asia, then output bool will equal this expression. Then we don't need this variable anymore. We'll see in a moment. Now else if, meaning if this expression is false, it's gonna jump to this second expression. So we want to check if it's maybe London, right? Now if it's London, then we want this to be spring session London. I wonder if there will be problems with this, but it will be like we can just face them later, because I'm not sure if this function can get global variables, but we'll see. All right, let's go further, and so on. So we can use it, use if-else block. That's what we call if-else block, or we can use this very convenient expression, which is switch. And here we tell the switch instruction which variable we want to check. And for us, it's gonna be input session. And if it's, and now we will tell that if the value is Asia, then we want to execute this instruction. If, well, it does basically the same thing. It's just that it's a bit more readable in the code. The code is a bit more clear in this case, as you can see. Now we have for each option we have only one nice row. In this case, it's gonna be New York AM, and here we need to change this variable name to New York AM. Yeah. And keep in mind that all these values must be the same, exactly the same as the ones that we used here in options. So PM, okay. And since we want to return this output bool, we can just leave it like this, or we can just write like this. All right, now like I said, we don't need all these expressions, all these variables. Now we can just check here. If f is user session, the input is input string session. This is, and now we can label it just input string session, right? Let's see if this works now. Yeah, okay. Let's see if this works. Well, like I said, I was kind of worried that it might throw an error on us using the global variables. Global meaning basically the variables that are defined in the main, let's say in the scope of the whole indicator. I think it was throwing errors in recent versions of my script. I'm not 100% sure, but anyway, it's working, so we don't have to worry about this. So let's see if this works. Well, New York PM, right? It's from noon till, well, 6 p.m. That's correct. Now let's choose Asia. Okay, it's from 6 p.m. till midnight. Oh, maybe we can go to indices. Might be a bit more readable. So Asia, like I said, 6 p.m. till midnight. London, midnight till 6 p.m. 6 a.m. sorry, and New York AM session, which is from 6 a.m. till noon. So everything works correctly. And yeah, I think this is all I have for you guys. Now, last thing we're going to do is we're just going to add the changes and commit the changes. So session label shown on session. And that's it for the third lesson. See you in the next lesson. Bye.